record. Okay, I'm recording. All right, autopilot. Let me start out by saying never turn the autopilot on, set it all up, and then say start trading. And Lan, who developed autopilot, will tell you the same thing. Never just trade it. What autopilot should be used for is to decide what you want the market to do or what you expect the market to do, and then set up autopilot and make it do that. All right. Just a second. Hold on. I'm going to switch screens, go over to the desktop so I can be staring at the screen. And it looks like I'm looking at you that way. So hold on. There. All right. So autopilot should never be used just to turn on and trade. Ever. Let me move my picture out of the way. There we go. All right. Now then, to start with, you can use what they call the system setup here to follow any of the indicators that you want it to. All right. And then you can name it. I happen to name this one B&B, Bulls and Bears. When Bill and I were playing around with it, B&B and AL for advantage lines, right? And so that stood for the indicator Bulls and Bears, and a conditional should have been advantage lines, but I don't have advantage lines turned on, so I have to turn those on. Then I can choose them. Okay, so what this is doing is saying that the indicator is the Bulls and Bears indicator. So you're looking for that red Bulls and Bears buy or sell signal as an example here. Now I'm going to change time frame so it'll be a little bit faster, and we'll use a 5-minute chart just as an example here. Come on. There you go.
Do you see me on your screen?
Yeah, I see you.
Yeah, I don't see me.
I see you. Do you normally, there you go, I see you.
It's funny, I don't see me. I don't need to see me.
And then when you switch, you've got, when you stop sharing video, there's a picture of a, looks like somebody in a bow tie. Anyway, yes. All right. Yeah, I see a map on your refrigerator behind you. And, okay.
Yeah, all right, good.
Okay. Anyway, autopilot. Let's go over here. We're on a 5-minute S&P. Now, it's set up as the indicator is Bulls and Bears. Now, you can use any indicator that you want to, as long as it's a chart overlay. So you could use any of these overlays that you wanted to. I just happen to use Bulls and Bears. You could use alligator, you could use candlesticks, the ribbon, moving averages, anything that you wanted to. So the first thing that has to happen is that you have to have a Bulls and Bears buy or sell signal. All right. And then if you have conditional turned on here, let me turn the advantage lines back on. All right. Now then, here's your advantage lines, these two here. So what you're telling it, if you use the conditional, is that it's looking for a Bulls and Bears sell or a buy signal. And then if you use conditional advantage lines, it's going to have first the Bulls and Bears, and then it's going to have an advantage line.
Crossing.
Yes. You're going to have to get two signals. First signal is Bulls and Bears. Then it says if you have an advantage line within four bars before, the bulls and bears, or within 16 bars after the bulls and bears.
Can I just stop you for a minute?
Sure, of course.
Does that mean, like, for instance, here's the cross. It would be 4 candlesticks before that? Before it would...
Yeah, let's enlarge the chart here.
Right.
Okay.
So here's the bulls and bears.
There's your bulls and bears.
We count back 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. There is your, I think that's the event. Let me turn off everything else so we don't get confused here. Remove. So the only thing that we've got is bulls and bears and advantage lines. All right.
Okay.
So here it's telling you 4 before or 16 after. So we didn't have an advantage line 4 before. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
It would have taken that trade short on this bar here. Following the bulls and bears, on the open of the next bar, you would have been short here.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Now that's just your entry.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, of course, you would have had some drawdown during that time of $150. But I'll show you how you can control that. All right.
Yeah.
Now, you can also go in here and set up your trading quantity to trade 1. You can use time restraints from, and this is your local time. So I would say from, say, 8:30 till 4. You can set up your exits that you only want to exit Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, which obviously you want to exit every day. Now your entry strategy is a market on order signal. So when you get a signal here, it's going to enter on the bar following this bulls and bears, provided you had the advantage lines. All right. Now you could also set it up down here to say take both positions, long, short, or the trend. So if you thought the S&P was going down, you could say, I only want a short position. You with me so far?
Yeah.
Okay. Now this thrust preference, I don't use that. And don't enter if the move is less than, I don't use that. Let's go over here, scroll down. Now here's your exit strategies. You know what your entries are. So you could say, I want to stop based on 20 ticks, based on $250, or based on bars back. Now what that means is that it's going to go 3 bars backwards, and that's going to be your stop. So here in this case, you entered here, so it would go 1, 2, 3 bars back and place a stop here.
No kidding. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. So you can use it bars back, dollars, or ticks. Then you can set your limit up. You can say, I want to take 89 ticks. I want to take $1,200. I want to exit if the profit is less than, one tick, etc. Exit if profit is greater than 1 tick, and you can obviously adjust those to anything that you want to. Take those off for now. You can use exit on signals. Now what that is, exit on signals or exit on bulls and bears neutral bars. So in this case, if you said exit on signals, it's going to only exit on your top signal that you have here, which is your bulls and your bears. So if it gets a bulls and bears buy signal, it's going to exit that position. Because that's what you told it to do. You said exit on signals. Now, if you check this one, exit on neutral bars, if it turns yellow, which is a neutral bar, it exits.
So let me just clarify that. So if I went in here, right, if I bought here.
Here I can't see because I can't see your chart.
Oh, I thought you could see. Oh, I see.
No, all I can see is your face. And now you can become the host, and I can see your chart if you want me to. So if you want me, if you want me to see your chart, I have to make you the host, and then you.
No, that's all right.
Okay. So all it's telling you here is that you're going to exit on bulls and bears neutrals if you want to, or you can say exit on signals. Or
so your advantage line right now
would
be on the neutral bar.
No. Yeah, right here. It would be pointing toward this no?
How about over 3-4 bars right there?
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a neutral.
Out there?
Yeah, that's a neutral bar. It's yellow.
So that would have got me out there if I had done that.
No, because your first leading indicator is bulls and bears.
All right. So
all right.
Yeah.
So if you had exit on bulls and bears neutral checked, it would have gotten you out here, the bar after that one.
Got it.
And you had a loss on it.
Yes.
Because you got in here, you got out here.
Right.
Now, if you had exit on signal selected, then it will only exit one of two ways. If your limit was hit, or if you got a bulls and bears buy signal, it would then take you out.
Got it.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now then, here are buttons that Lance has never used. QCalc. All right?
Oh, yeah.
QCalc is perfect because it trades backwards in time. Now, this is going to show you your trades down here, and you can set it up. We're on a 5-minute bar, so we're going to go in and set it up. I'll go to today and then back it up to the first, because we're using 5-minute bars. All right, so during that time from 5/1 through right now, it would have placed 1, 2, 3, 4 trades on a 5-minute bar. It would have lost 230, 350, made 240, made 390. You'd be $40 ahead. All right?
Yeah.
Without any QCalc or anything else. Now, if you QCalc, which you don't want to do, I'm just showing you what not to do. Don't QCalc. If you QCalc from the top button here on the top right-hand side,
yes.
All right, it's going to calculate everything all the way down to the very bottom, every setting that you have, and then set it up for the very best settings that it can find, which seems, in theory, wonderful. It says, gosh, it's going backwards in time, and it's going to tell me the exact places to put limits, stops, trailing stops, this and this, etc. Sounds perfect. And I'm going to hit QCalc, and it's going to say it's going to take a while. Now, remember, we had 50% wins. It made $40. Now, watch what happens after a QCalc, if that changes. Just give it a minute.
Yeah.
Because it's going through a lot of 5-minute bars. And Bill and I played with this for, I can't tell you how many hundreds of hours.
Oh, wow.
And I got into the RBOB on the autopilot, and it was perfect. It won every Wednesday for 4, 5, 6 weeks. And I said, okay, I'm going to turn it on one Wednesday, and I'm going to trade it based on, I forgot what it was, a minute or a range 10 or something. Anyway, and I got lucky that day, and I won like 2 trades of $200 or $300. And I said, okay, Bill, next Wednesday I'm going for it. And we set it up on a different time frame. We set it up on like a 1-minute chart, unfortunately. And that market moved so fast during that report. A 1-minute chart it's just incredibly fast. So I traded. Now see, after QCalc, it says it only placed 2 trades and made $600. Then you think, wow, that's great. That's a lot better than what it was. But it's going backwards in time, not forward. It took me a long time to understand how that works. And I don't think the guys at Gecko, the programmers, actually know how it works. They know how to make it, do what you're supposed to, but I don't think they know the theory behind it, that it works backwards in time. It would be like you saying, okay, I'm going to go back here and I'm going to say, gosh, I'm going to short it here. I'm going to buy it here. I'm going to short it here. I'm going to buy it here. I'm going to go short here. I'm going to buy it here. I'm going to go short here. That's what autopilot does, backwards in time. It always wins backwards, always.
Because it's got the information.
Yeah, it's trading backwards, not forward.
Got it.
I could go in here and take off advantage lines and see how it lost, taking off advantage lines.
Yeah.
But what happens if I QCalc it? It's going to win over and over and over and over and over. Normally, because it's going backwards in time. So you don't want to do that. And I'm going to show you how you can use it to your advantage.
Okay.
Now, one feature that I wish that they had, and they don't, and I talked to Lan about it, and Lan said, yes, we do need that feature. And I told them we need this feature. They need to put this feature in, and one day we're going to put this feature in. Because when you hit the start trading button, which I'll show you in a minute,
okay,
it starts trading and it doesn't stop trading. You can't tell it place 1 trade and stop. All you can do is say auto trade. And it might, on a 5-minute chart during one day, it could put you into 6 different orders while you're not even there.
Yeah.
Because all you've done is said, okay, based on all these conditions that I've set up, I want it to trade. And you don't want that. There should be a button in here that says continuously trade or trade one time. So one day they'll have that in there, all right? But you notice after the QCalc, almost all the losses went away. We had one for $145, one for $10, and all the other wins, and we made $300.
Mm-hmm.
Now before, we lost money before the QCalc. Now if I turned it back on again, now we're back up to 308 and those 2 wins. But if we QCalc'd it, it's gonna give you different results, because now it's going backwards in time and finding the best possible strategies and entries and bars back and limits and stops backwards in time, not forward. Anybody can be a perfect trader in the past. Anybody.
Mm-hmm.
All right. See, now it made $462 and 100% wins. all right, which looks great. When I first started looking at this, I said, my gosh. And end date needs to extend for a day, so it takes today there. But anyway, what you really want to do is to use autopilot to make it do what you want it to do. So let's say that you are looking to go short a market, and let's change time frames. Let's go to a 60-minute. Okay. Well, it's almost, well, we still got time. But you want to go pick a direction, and you only want to trade in that direction. So let's go over and look at a daily, and you tell me, would you want to be long or short the S&P today?
I don't want to lose all that money, honey.
No, I understand, but just based on what the daily chart is doing, do you think you would be more bullish or more bearish?
Bullish.
You'd be more bullish.
Yeah. Well, for that part, but then it's coming down to be bearish.
Yeah, it's coming down, so the market is bearish.
Right.
Bulls and bears says it's neutral.
Right.
Right? Used to be bullish because it was green, and now it's turned neutral.
Right.
Next thing we're going to get, if we get it, will be a red arrow pointing down, and the bars will turn red, and then you have a bearish trend on bulls and bears. All right? But let's say right now that it's just neutral, but you think you want to be short. So we're going to go over and look at a 60-minute chart, and we're going to go into autopilot. All right, let's just use bulls and bears. So keep it simple. Now then, if we're using strictly bulls and bears, and that market is already bearish because it's red, right?
Right.
Well, if we said we want to only short that market, let's go down here and turn on. I think I left it, stop style, entry style, short. I did. Take short positions.
Yeah.
All right. Now, think about it for a second. If it's already bearish with a red bulls and bears, would you not have to get a green bulls and bears buy before you would get another bulls and bears sell? You cannot get another bulls and bears sell signal here until you've got a buy signal. Like here, you had a bulls and bears buy signal followed by a bulls and bears sell signal. The next bulls and bears that you get has to be a buy signal. All right. Then after you get that buy signal, since you said that you only want to go short, it's going to wait until you get another sell signal.
Right.
So that market could drop $5,000 and you're not going to get in.
Right.
That makes sense, or did I lose you on that?
No, I understand.
Okay, good. So that's just taking a short position only. Now, if you took it and said, I don't care which way it goes, I want to trade both directions, then you could turn it on to say take both directions. Or with the trend, which is the bulls and bears, red or green. But let's just say both. Now then, what direction could you trade right now if you were on autopilot? Would you be taking a short position or a long position?
Short.
No, because you told it to take both buys and sells, and you've already got a sell signal. The next signal you get has to be a what?
A buy signal.
Yeah, and then you'd go long because you told it to take both buy and sells.
I see. And you're all right.
Okay. So the only position that you could take is a buy signal.
Right.
Right? And maybe that's what you want. I'm just showing you, I'm not telling you what to do, I'm just showing you how to use it.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's move it back to your short position that you were saying. Okay, now then, your stop style here, it tells you bars back, dollars back. Now maybe you say, okay, I only want to risk $250.
Right.
Well, that's going to be a trailing stop of $250.
Not the blue light, not anything. It's going to be physical money when it starts to go down.
Yes. Now you can also trail. I haven't used this in a long time. You could say exit on signals, which will exit you if you got a bulls and bears reverse signal.
Right.
Okay. Or you could say, I want to exit on neutrals. So if it turns from being bearish in your short to being neutral, which is yellow, you get out. Or you don't have to use exit on signals. You can say, I don't want to use that. All I want to do is use my stops. Let's take off jump so that's not confusing. So you've got a stop of $250 that will trail.
Right.
Right? Now, do you know what a jump stop is?
Yeah, you mentioned it before.
Okay. A jump stop, the way that this is set up, let's use round numbers and say 20. You're saying if that market moves 20 ticks in my favor, a tick is $12.50, so it's $250. Isn't that right? Yeah, $250. Then if that market, if you're ahead $250, it's going to move your stop down 13 ticks. Let's change it to 10. So it's going to go to break even plus 10 ticks in your favor, which is $125. So you would go to break even and then $125 below that, and that's where your stop would be.
Uh-huh.
Now then, if you want to go one step further, then you can say, then if the market moves 10 more ticks, I want to move my stop down 5 ticks. So first it has to go 20, and then it locks in 10 ticks and profits. Then if it drops another 10 ticks, $125, then it moves your stop down 5 ticks. So you've locked in 75 plus 125 here, you've locked in 200. That makes sense?
It does make sense. I'm not sure why. I mean, that's very intricate and very good, but why would you use it versus a $250 stop?
Either one, it's the same number.
I see. Okay.
$250 is 20 ticks.
Right.
You can use either way.
But you're giving it more of a subtle.
Some people have trouble with ticks, especially if you're in something like the bonds or something like that. That's hard to calculate. You can just say, okay, I want to risk $1,000.
Right.
Right? Here. So that's how you use your jump stops. Now you can get aggressive on your jump stops, and it's going to stop you out earlier, and it may stop you out with a greater profit, and sometimes it stops you out and the market continues in your favor, because you could say, I want it to go down. If it goes 20 ticks in my favor, I want to go to break even plus 10. Then if it drops 10 more points, I want to move my stop down 15. Then if it moves another 10, I want to move it down 15 again. Eventually you're going to get stopped out faster.
Faster, yeah.
But you'll get stopped out with more profit.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the times that works in your favor, a lot of the times it works against you, depending on how the market reacts. I mean, if it just drops and drops and drops and then bounces back up and stops you out and then drops again, you're going to say, why in the world did I put that jump in like that?
Right.
Right? So give it some breathing room. If you just said 5, it has to drop 250, then locks in 125. Then it drops another 125, and it locks in another 75,
Right.
plus the 125 you already had.
Mhm.
So now you're locked in 200. Then if it drops another 125, then it's going to lock in another 5 ticks.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, another 6250.
Nice.
And that will just continue until you get stopped out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now you can use no trailing stops, continuous trailing stops. You can trail the parabolic czar if you want to. You can trail the blue light if you want to. Then your stops would be trailing the blue light over here. You could not use a jump and just trail, you know, blue light. We'll take that back. On jump stops, let's see here. No, you can use that. You can use no jump stops and trail parabolic czar or blue light without a jump. Or you could use the jump and trail blue light. So one of those is going to stop you out sooner, first. So it's set up to let you do a lot of different strategies with it. But whatever you do, don't Q calc from the top and then go over here and say start trading because it's perfect in hindsight.
Right.
So what you want to do is to look at that chart and say, okay, this is what I would like to do. And then set up your autopilot to make it do what you think that you want it to do.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Use autopilot as your assistant, not as your trading partner that trades in the blind.
And you know, I have to say, when I first started thinking about this, I did the same thing. I said, wow, this is great. I could just turn that on and it would do it.
You did the same thing as I.
I know. It's like, wow, this is great. But I'm glad we went through this. This is wonderful.
Mm-hmm. I thought the same thing. And then, and Bill and I would go in and we'd say, okay, well, let's use some different indicators and change some things up here at the top. Let's use bulls and bears and conditional, and then we can use advantage lines first over bulls and bears, or we can do this, we can do that. And we found absolutely the very best things. And then we turned it on and it lost money. And we said, how in the world did we have 4 or 5 losing trades in a row when it just had 25 wins in a row? We're the unluckiest people in the world. Well, we weren't unlucky, we were stupid. All right? So, set up autopilot, play around with it, but make autopilot do what you want it to do.
Okay, good.
Right? And it may work better using a conditional. You may want it to have 2 conditionals. You might want to say, okay, I want a bulls and bears sell signal if I want to go short, but I want an advantage line there also.
So it wouldn't do it without if bulls and bears occurred, it wouldn't trade until the advantage lines kicked in.
Well, you're telling it conditionally. The first condition is bulls and bears sell signal in this case, because you said you only wanted to be short.
Right.
Then if you have conditional turned on and you get a bulls and bears buy signal, you have to have that advantage lines 4 before or 16 after.
Huh?
Then it will take the trade.
How did you pick those numbers? I mean,
I'm arbitrary. Well, QCalc. Now, I don't mind necessarily QCalcing the advantage lines only, or the bulls and bears, but I would never QCalc everything.
everything, got it. I see, yeah.
All right. So let's just QCalc and see what QCalc comes up with on 4 and 16. See if it changes anything.
All right, good.
All right.
Yeah.
Now it's 1 and 1.
1 and 1.
Wow. Now then you had one trade and made $104 because you QCalc'd it. So let's go back over here and move this back to 4 and 16. And see how it does.
How do you do that?
It didn't. Oh, I know what I did. I clicked down here. I clicked advantage lines, not the numbers. I think that's what I did. If you need to take that, I'm.
No, like my brother. It's fine. I'm going to turn it off.
You're using an iPhone.
Yeah.
My wife has an iPhone. She likes it. I've got a Windows phone and I really like it.
Yeah.
I like it better than the iPhone. All right, now I just did a QCalc on advantage lines after I did a QCalc on the numbers here. Let's see if this changes anything.
Did you do 2 QCalcs or just one on advantage lines?
I did one down here on plus or minus bars and then went back up in QCalc. I did it in reverse.
Okay.
Right? But it still only had one trade. Now, if I QCalc down here after doing the advantage lines QCalc,
Right.
it may change the numbers again. I don't like the QCalcs that much. Lan hates them. He said, I wish they were never put on there. He said, the only reason I put them on there is because I had so many of the customers saying, Lan, the computer's so smart. Why don't you tell it to go back and find the best settings?
Well, why does he hate it? I mean, it seems to work okay.
Backwards.
Oh, I see.
Not in advance.
But here, oh, I see. So this trade is what came up from backwards. It's not something that you can decide is going forward.
It can't. It doesn't know the future. It only knows the history.
Of course.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So once you get it wherever you want it, you click Start Trading, and you'll see a green line pop up.
Got it.
It's trading now. It's ready to trade. But I'm not going to worry about it because we've got it set up as a bulls and bears short position only. And we had a bulls and bears short over here already. So we'd have to get a bulls and bears buy signal. And then it would have to give us another bulls and bears sell signal before it would take the trade.
Oh, I see. Yes. Yeah.
Because you've told it to only go short.
Right.
It's already short. So I'm going to stop trading.
Okay.
All right. But that's how you use the bulls and the bears. And that's scratching the surface.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Of how you can use it. But it gives you enough information, hopefully, that you can play around a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And go in and play. Now, you can also go back over here and change your advantage lines and use the TNT default settings. Now let's go back into autopilot. How would that work? So I just hate these QCalcs. Okay, advantage lines, come here. Period 1 and period 10. Advantage lines, default. Now you can change the periods on them, and you'll see the buys and the sells over on the left-hand side, the blue change.
Yes.
And you can change your period too, and you'll see it change.
I do.
Okay, so you can set it up to say, okay, on this particular market, and every market can be a little bit different, you could say, all right, I'm going to change this until it matches up more with the bulls and the bears. There it is. Now it's matching the bulls and the bears, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, it's closer. This one happened to hit it together. Or
and that's the advantage lines, did you say?
I'm sorry?
Is that the advantage lines?
Yes, that's the advantage lines.
Yeah.
And you clicked here, and it shows you the advantage lines. ADV, and then over here, update all ADV, save as my default, TNT default, my default. All right.
Yeah.
So let's go back to TNT default.
Yeah.
And you see down here in autopilot, it lost $20 on these settings. So if we went back to TNT defaults, well, it's not going to change anything, but you can go back in and set up autopilot or your indicators, not autopilot, and play around with those. You can do the same thing on bulls and bears. Lamb likes the 72 setting.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's the default, 72. Now you can slide them around and watch your bulls and bears change.
Wow. That's amazing.
Okay, so if you went back to a daily chart and then went back to bulls and bears, now land's default is 72.
Right.
Right. I think my default was 73. Bulls and bears, my default 73. Right. I mean, so close.
Yeah.
But let's say that let's get rid of all this so we can just see a chart. So let's say, okay, we want, let's get rid of zigzag so it's not in the way. Remove. And all we've got now are bulls and bears. Let's even get rid of advantage lines. So all we have now are bulls and bears.
What's the white? That one that you're pointing at.
The white?
The white arrows.
Oh, that would be one of these indicators in here. Let me get rid of them. There.
Okay.
All right. Now, all we've got showing are bulls and bears and alerts. Down here in the bottom right-hand corner.
Right.
Down here. So the only indicator we've got turned on are bulls and bears. Now you could go back in here to bulls and bears, and you could change the settings and watch the arrows change.
Oh wow, yeah.
So you can make it as sensitive as you want to. I think during this time, that's way too sensitive.
Yes, yeah.
Are you going to get whiplash? You're going to get in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out.
Yep, yep.
Right? Now, that's going to happen anytime that you're in a trading range. Same thing happened over here. Look at here.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. During a trending market, you only got one. That's how come they say trade trending markets, not sideways markets.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Because sideways markets are just extremely hard to trade. Let's go back over here to bulls and bears, and let's play around with the settings again and see if we can get better settings. Now, to me, those 79, that's too many, too many. We're at 79, we're at 75. To me, that's more realistic.
Yeah.
It caught this downtrend, caught this uptrend, so there's been some whiplash. But it caught this on the way down, caught this on the way up, and then right back down again. So maybe that's too sensitive. But it did catch this down here and stayed in that trade.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, which would have turned into a $7,000 winner. All right.
Yeah.
But the problem that you have is that markets don't always just trend up or trend down. They do this kind of garbage.
Yes, 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 yes.
Which just kills you as a trader, or this kind of stuff. Right? So that's why I'm getting more and more to the point of saying, okay, I like these intercept orders with a $300 risk or a $400 risk or a $250 risk or something, and then I want to try to catch one of these $5,000 or $6,000 moves.
Trade, yeah.
So I can take a lot of $200 and $300 hits to pick up one $6,000 winner.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. So you would have it. You think you would have it more at the trending instead of listening to the 72, or how would you listen to the trend? Oh, it probably 72 is around the trending sensitivity.
All right, repeat that again now.
So the 72 that land has as a default is probably the one that will look at the trending more than the whipsaw.
It is the most common setting, and you can see that at 72, like on the S&P here, it caught this one, it caught this one, it caught this one.
Yeah, yeah.
All right,
yeah.
Caught this one. But when you're into a choppy market, and you wouldn't be trading this market back here, because now you're back in July 2015. You're not going to be trading back in July 2015, the S&P. You're going to be trading over here.
Right.
But right now, what I don't like about the S&P, and I think I mentioned that this morning, it's not trending. It's choppy.
Choppy, yeah.
It goes up, comes down, goes up, comes down. Let's see if this support down in here holds.
Right.
All right. And if this support holds, then that market bounces. I want to be a buyer.
Right.
Because I could keep very, very tight stops by doing that.
Yes.
And then I'm either going to be right and make good money, or I'm going to be wrong and lose a few hundred.
Yeah.
But what I'm looking for are one of these moves.
Right.
Bill likes the jump stops. I don't mind the jump stops. The jump stop that I had today locked in $100 on silver over here, remember? Or the trailing stop, when a jump stop, the trailing stop, right? It locked in 100. Now, I was on a 60-minute. If I'd have been on a 30-minute, it would have locked in $300, I think. We looked at this morning. Remember, we were looking at a chart, and I said, well, why did it stop me out at $100?
Yes, yes.
And then I went back and I said, oh, because it was set on a 60-minute, not a 30-minute, and I was looking at a 30-minute or vice versa, one or the other.
Right, right.
So anyway, the trailing stops work well sometimes, and sometimes they don't. It stopped me out with a $100 profit, but if I'd have stayed in that trade, it got me out here at 435. Right around here somewhere. There's 445. So if I hadn't have gotten out, I'd still be up another $500 or $600.
Yeah, yeah.
But it stopped me out with 100. So sometimes they work in your advantage, sometimes they work against you.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing works all the time, for you. And the larger your time frame chart, the more risk that you're taking.
Could you explain that to me? I know that you do a lot of the daily and then go to the 60. You do a lot of trading on the daily, right?
Yeah, I look at the dailies and then go to a shorter term time frame to try to get into the position and turn it into a day trade on a daily chart.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to get a better entry price rather than saying, okay, I'm just going to short the market right now. I'd rather go in and look at a 30-minute chart or a 60-minute chart or something and say, okay, I'm going to place an intercept order or something else. And if that market does not move in my favor, then I don't get filled.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to make the market, well, I can't make the market do anything, but make my trade follow what the market is doing. And if I'm wrong, then I don't get filled. Then I can take that position off. Or I can decide, no, I still think it's going to come down. It just had a little bounce today, and I'm going to leave it on because I'm still thinking it's going to go short. And since it's trailing, I'm going to get a better fill than I would have if I'd have just left it as a stop.
Anyway, yeah.
So at least the market has to do what you think that it's going to do, or you don't get filled.
Right.
Like if you look at my open positions, every open position that I've got except one is making money. $100, $400, $1,300, $1,000, $675, $575, and closed for $100. And I made one mistake, and I can't tell you that was not anybody's fault but mine, and it was a stupid thing to do with that Australian dollar, because I placed that trade knowing or not knowing, not looking, that there was an economics report coming out that night on the Australian dollar.
Right.
Stupid thing to do. If not, I'd be up $4,000 today.
Yes.
Rather than up $15.
Yeah.
So that's the only, quote, bad trade that I've made since we started the webinars 2 months ago. Now, I've had some losses, but they weren't bad.
Right. They were, 150, 300, right.
Yeah. We made $7,000 the first month, and Some of the state trades are still open, I think, on from last month, the Aussie for one of them. And if I backed out the Aussie, I would have probably had a $5,000 or $6,000 winning month last month. But I can't say that because I've got a losing trade on the Aussie.
Right. Right.
So I may only make $500 or $1,000 for the month
Right.
last month because I made a stupid mistake.
Yeah.
And at least I admit I made a stupid mistake.
Yeah, and you're, for the student, for me, you showed how you did it and what happened. Very important.
Yeah. So you can see, I mean, thank God this is the demo account because that stupid mistake was a very valuable lesson.
Right.
You know, so, and I don't mind telling the class that, and the people that are watching the recordings. I have a lot more people watch the recordings that are in the class because they're working and stuff.
Yeah.
But to say, look, if you don't think these calendars are worthwhile or these economic reports or USDA reports are valuable, let me show you why they are valuable.
Pension, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now I'm up $200, even counting my Aussie trade for today.
You're looking at that one, I see, oh yeah, 213. Yeah. I think I get a lag.
You think what?
I think when I'm watching whatever you're watching, I'm on a lag because I see like 225 right now. Do you see that too?
225.
Now it's 215 and now it's 202.
Yeah, that's my profits for today on all the open positions.
Right. Okay. I thought I was seeing, you were seeing one number and I was seeing another, and I thought there might have been a lag.
No, it's just a fraction of a second lag.
Okay.
Now I've got 275, 205, 305.
Got it. Yeah. All right.
Okay. And if I didn't have that Aussie trade on, I'd be up $4,400 or something right now.
Easily. Yeah. What is Bill saying?
So let me buzz. I'm going to put you on mute so I don't get too sound. I'm going to mute me. Hold on. I'm going to call. So Bill's going to jump in the room.
Okay.
He'll be here in a second. And Bill is more knowledgeable about autopilot than I am. I've spent hundreds of hours on it. Bill's probably spent thousands.
That's what he said. Yeah.
And that's not an exaggeration.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bill is up every morning at like 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Wow. I'm just going to take a break for a minute. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem. Oh, chimichangas. Wow, thank you. No milk, okay. Ugo, and a knife and fork. Okay. Yeah, this is good. This is good. Soda is good. Coca-Cola. Hey, I'm back. Bill's not in yet. He should be in a minute.
Can you see me?
Yeah, I see you.
Okay.
My housekeeper. Look what my housekeeper did. Can you see? She.
No. Oh, nice.
She made me chimichangas.
Nice. Oh.
Yeah. Just in a bottle is fine, Joanna. Gracias. So I don't know where Bill is. But anyway, you want to try to play around on your screen with autopilot.
Oh.
Just so I can turn you into the host and you can do that. Thank you, Joanna. Yeah.
It would be your screen or?
No, your screen. I'll see your screen.
You mean on my track and trade?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can even get into it.
Oh, you don't have yours open. Oh, okay.
Mine is open, but it's behind. I don't know how to get to it.
Are you using just one screen, one monitor?
Yes.
Okay. You can still do it. You'll have the pictures up in the top corner. Let's do that until Bill comes in here. Let me. Hope you don't mind if I eat.
No, please, feel free.
All right, I just sent you an invitation to be a host. You have to accept it. There's Bill.
Hey, howdy.
I'm eating chimichangas. Look, my housekeeper just brought me chimichangas.
Well, that's good.
And we're trying to get Jane to be the host here. She is the host. Now we got to see your screen. So Jane, what you have to do is go down to where it says mute or start my video or whatever, and you'll see a little box. Then it'll be at the top since you're at the host level. Go up to the top of your screen, and you should have menus that drop down, and it'll say new share. It'll say mute, stop video, participants, new share, pause.
I don't see it.
Try the bottom of your screen. It may be at the bottom.
Yeah, I think there's a button that says share screen.
Yeah, it does. Wait.
All right, share screen and tell it which screen you want it to share, and that's what we're going to see.
Now, how do I get to my? Oh wait, untitled book track and trade. There it is.
There we go. I got it. I got it. We see your screen.
Woohoo! This is really good. It's so interesting.
Oh, good stuff.
You know, I go back and forth between seeing Bill and you. I have Bill on my bottom screen now, but not you.
I think there's a button up on the top that you can have, select who you want or all you want or not see anybody if you want. On mine, it's right near the. I've got the three. I see three of us, there's a little button right on the top of the cam or the TV screen or whatever you want to call it, the viewing of that. And
Oh, wait a minute. I see. So show thumbnail video or?
Yeah. And I think isn't that right, Bill? A thumbnail shows little tiny pictures of both of us.
Exactly. And then
Oh, there you are.
you can kind of do it the way you want it, you know.
There you go.
Yeah. How do I get it to be over on the side?
Well, if you change screens, if you're using different monitors, just maximize your screen as if that helps. There you go. See if that helps. There you go. Well, not all of it.
I see us up and down, and I'd like to see us sideways.
Oh.
Oh, you can, yeah. So if you just grab that, the top of it, and I was playing with it, you can if you grab it and pull it, you know, it'll go different places.
Grab your menu bar at the top is what you're saying?
I have it going places, but
If you push it to the top, it goes one way. If you pull it all the way to the side, you can have it, you know. You got to just, you can't hurt it. So, you know what I mean? Just, you know, you pull, try it a little bit, see, try to get it set up the way you want.
all right. I can leave it like that. That's fine. Okay, so now we're on my charts.
Okay, so I just see Track and Trade Live. Do you have a chart up?
Mm-mm.
No.
Open the chart, Jane.
Okay.
Well, how's that Jimmy Chunga?
Hey, now you got it. It's good. Look.
I just made myself a little iced tea latte. So,
Well, I'm having chimichangas and a Coca-Cola, and I never drink a Coke.
You guys are really doing it up here.
we're making.
I want to be on your team.
Well, you think about it. Isn't this technology amazing? We got California, Panama, and Florida.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. What's the weather like there, Jane?
It's wonderful. It's like 68,
Yeah, I
70.
can see a little piece of your window there. It looks like it's beautiful outside.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Where in California? You're in California, right?
Oakland.
Oakland.
Yeah. I love that I can keep my door open. You know what I mean? It's great.
Yeah.
So let me see if when I hit my chart, it doesn't come up. I don't know what.
So punch your chart, hit your chart button, and what should drop down.
Select commodity. There you go.
Okay.
Stick with your
What do we want to look at? S&P, NASDAQ?
Yeah, just do S&P for now. I would recommend because it's that way you got plenty of volume and the minis.
There you go.
What is that? Well, that's different looking. I've never seen it look like that.
A blue background.
Yeah.
How about that?
You guys have all white, right?
And you can do it any way you want to. It's your chart.
Yeah, I have mine black. But whatever, yeah.
It shows up well on blue. I've never used blue, but it shows up well.
Yeah, it does. All right, Miss Jane.
Yeah.
We're looking at your daily.
Yeah.
What do you want to learn today?
We spent the last hour going through autopilot, me showing her how to set it up. Now I want to see her set it up.
Ah, very good, very good. She's got some homework. No pressure. We're just overlooking your shoulder there, Jane.
All right. No pressure.
Okay.
All right. So system setup.
What kind of trade are you trying to put on? Because you're on a daily chart. Are you going to try to do a position day duty kind of thing? Or are you trying to do a day trade, an hour trade? What kind of trade do you want to be? How long you want to be? I guess let me ask a question this way. How much are you willing to risk? A couple hundred or a couple thousand?
Couple hundred.
So really, that's a day trade. You know,
That's a day trade, right?
so you ought to drop down. You know, and this is just what I've been experimenting with, and then David is the master. He can You know, but I mean, I've found that, you know, with the day trades, if you're trying to get something, you know, to, and then what's great about the autopilot, whether you use it to actually trade or not, it's a great teaching tool to help you assess the market. It's really been good for me with that. And if you go to like now, what do you have? What's your range chart? You have it set at 4. That's a little tight. Go down to your range chart, because I think this is good for you to learn too if you haven't. Go down where it says the range chart tab and right click on that.
Whoops, wait a minute, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That's all, yeah, it's okay. So it'll come up. That's a little bit, that's only going to go 4 ticks. I would put it at 6 or something like that, just a little bit more. Right click, yeah, that's it. And then where it says 4, make that a 6.
Wait, I lost my,
You see where you got 4 in there?
yeah, I do.
Yeah, highlight, that's it. Make that a 6 and hit OK. That'll just give it a little bit more depth.
Yeah.
So what that means is for each bar, it's going to have to trade 6 ticks up or down before it's going to create another bar. All right, and when the market's really moving, you can see that sucker really go. But I mean, what I like about it is no matter what time you're in, this will slow down in the evening. You won't just 1 minute charts. You would still get every minute you get a bar, whether it only moved 1 tick or no ticks or whatever. This is only going to give you the action. So it's actually it's a really unique tool. And I think with the autopilot, I think it's kind of a good tool. So now if you hit, go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm kind of dominating the conversation. But go ahead. Show what you're going to do. I just would recommend you start there for a day trade, and then you can up it from there. Take the range up, or take it up to a 1 minute, or a 5 minute, or a 15 minute. David used to favor the 15s, I think, but I mean, it just depends on the contract. But when you get done with setting up that autopilot, it's going to show you, you know, as we've talked about, and you probably already did again, is it shows you that max drawdown, and it shows you the max loss you would have had. So then you can kind of do a stomach check and say, okay, I could have lived with that. For that result, I could have lived with that. Or you'd say, you know, that doesn't feel good. I mean, it's 1,200 or it's 2,000. I mean, David likes to lose 5 or 10 grand at a time when he.
Yeah.
I just want to stop a minute. Is this really true, this range here, this range bar?
Wow.
Yeah.
Something must have.
That's a really big gap.
Yeah.
That is a big gap.
Wow.
Go to a 15. See, there you go.
It's down there.
Mm.
It's trading now.
I don't know. Go back to a range and see. I don't know. It jumped up. Well, it did. Look on the 15. On the 15, it jumped down there. Something happened.
Yeah, it did. It was down there.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't see that too much on an S&P. That's why I like an S&P, because it usually doesn't do stuff like that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, somebody must have put on a big.
Something happened. Yeah, something happened.
Yeah, you're right. Something.
That to happen, because that's not a close. That's not a gap close, right? Or an open.
I don't know why that gapped so much.
Put a dollar calculator on it. See how much of a move that is.
That's it, right? You almost had it. Go
To
back.
the right. The dollar sign. The dollar sign. Left.
Yeah, I have this.
No. Up.
Problem is
To the
that
right.
I have this whole thing in front of my.
Right there. Right to the right of that.
There it is.
Yeah. Okay.
$200.
Well, it actually moved more than that because it closed. No, it opened and then dropped down. Yeah, that's a $250 gap.
Wow.
And then look at the 15-minute. Yeah.
Something happened.
Yeah.
Part of her chart, David. Are you getting that too?
Let me look. Hold on.
Pause on that Chimichanga for a second. Now take a look here.
Bill, including my $4,000 drawdown today, I'm still up $465 for the day.
I like it. I like
I
it.
mean, I got positive 80, positive 400, positive 1400, positive 1500, positive 700, positive 600.
That's what I like to hear.
And look at that, a $4,000 loss.
I know. Kills you, man.
Oh,
Well, Jane and I could, sit here and say, we told you so. You should have got at it the other day.
yeah, I should have.
Let
Let me look at my S&P. S&P 15 minute. Let me look at a 5. No, I don't see it.
Yeah, I'm wondering if she
just there on the 5.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if, I don't know, maybe when she brought the chart up or something. I almost wonder if you close it and reopen it, if it wouldn't straighten out. I don't know. Something seems a little funky. That's really rare to see something like that on the S&P. It's so liquid.
Yeah, mine doesn't show it on the range 6. Hold on, I'm opening a range 6.
Yeah, I got one open right now and I don't see it. So
yeah, something weird happened. And see, that happens. No, I don't have it. It just dropped a whole bunch, but it didn't gap.
Really?
So you missed data there for a few seconds or a minute, and see that happens on mine. I've said I don't get data. I'm not getting data.
It just happens sometimes. It's I could understand it in Panama, but California.
California, Oakland, no.
Yeah. You probably got great internet there, I would think.
Yeah, I'm surprised. But you guys don't see it, or you do see it?
See it on your screen, but not on ours.
Really?
Yeah.
Let me see.
That might be about the time, you opened that chart up, and I'm just wondering if you if you closed that chart and then reopened it, maybe try it. If it
Yeah, just go to charts and close it.
Yeah, right click on that and just shut the whole thing down, delete the chart.
And then open it again.
And then do it again. Just see it sometimes,
And then go to a range.
Range 4 came back.
Oh, you didn't save it there. You'd have to save it.
Yeah. Yep, still there.
Yeah, you're missing data.
There's something.
Let me look at a NASDAQ. I mean, because they're so close.
Yeah. Go to something else. Try whatever you like. Whatever.
Hold on.
Something else I like to do, Jane, just to show you, to be familiar with it. But put your arrow over the NASDAQ and right click. It says open all charts.
I got to go open my gate and let her out, so I'll be right back.
Okay. Hit open all charts all the way down. Keep going.
Open all charts. Okay, good.
So it's going to open now. Now you don't need the monthly and the weekly. I mean, for what you're doing, so you could right click on that and delete that chart. Now, what's interesting about that is that you can then, at a glance, which is pretty cool, because if you're day trading, you want to kind of go in the direction of those arrows, which quickly you can see it's bearish. It's bearish on all levels.
Yeah.
So now you can go up and you can leave those open. I leave them open because I like cross-checking that. And just go up there and just hit the one that says range 4 on the top. Click that.
Oh, look at this down here.
Yeah, what is that?
Something weird.
The same thing on the NASDAQ. Wow, what is that?
On the NASDAQ.
It has to be something with their servers.
Yeah, something is wacky there. I wonder if you could.
But Dave, you do track and trade, and you're not seeing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, for what you're trying to do right now, that's fine. But go ahead and right-click on that range 4 and make it a 6 again. If you're going to change that, you have to go over to the tab.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go to
Just to
6.
give, yeah, make it a 6, just to give it a little more.
I do okay. But there's no way to save that.
Yeah, you can. You could now when you right-click on the screen, right where your arrow is, and then save settings as my default. I think, or isn't that the right one, Dave? Right there. See it?
Yeah, right there.
I think that'll save that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that does.
Good.
So as you make modifications and you like what you see, you can always do that. And then there's a button there that says if you feel like, oh man, I screwed this up. I think there's one that's called default, and it'll start it back over for you. So yeah, then we kind of go ahead. Let's see you set up a let's see what you feel comfortable setting up on the autopilot.
Okay, so autopilot system setup. I would name it whatever, test 5. We do test 5. How do you?
You know, what I do is usually try to see if I like what I come up with, because you don't have to save it now if you don't want. If if you just want to come up with,
You can come up with the name of the last step.
Yeah, but I mean, if you have one that you like, if that is test 3 you like, and that's going to bring up where you left off with that. So that's fine. That's fine. You got 6:30 to 8:30 on the time there.
Yeah, you could call this one Bill's Guaranteed Winner or something.
Test 3, I'm going to remember that. So in my time, it's 6:30 to 8:30, and that's the time I like to trade.
Now that's 9:30 to 10 to 11:30 New York time.
Right. In
Right.
fact,
That's good. That's good. That's a good time when it's real liquid. The markets. One thing that I'm throwing you out the stuff that I've learned, and then sometimes it's worth whatever you're paying for it, which is nothing. I mean, I'm just telling you what I've done this for a couple of years with David, but I mean, for what you're doing, I would take that where it says 6:30, and if you put your cursor on that, you can make it 6:31, just so you don't, it doesn't, you let it get that at least that first minute. And I'll show you a trick later that you could do to even add a little bit more, because that first minute, sometimes it can throw you right into a trade. At this stage, I wouldn't recommend you do.
Right.
It can, because it's so volatile. When that market opens up, it's like a big tidal wave coming in, and it can be it can really wreak havoc. On a day.
Yeah.
So that's good. I mean, just another thing. You can play with this all you want, but it can't hurt it. So what else you got on there? What else did you?
I'm also thinking about, instead of 8, which is 11, 8:30. Don't they go to lunch? So maybe I should just do 8 o'clock.
I found, yes, that after 11 it starts to get a little, it starts to flag, and it starts to kind of go sideways, and then it can even start going the opposite way, the way it's trending, because everybody takes, a lot of the day traders take their profits off the table, so yeah, that's a good, and here's the thing you can do I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but once you get the results that you think you like, I like to go back up to that clock right where you have it, like there, over the minutes, and then you can just take your cursor, or if you want, another shortcut is you take those little up and down arrows, and you can just play with that and watch the percentages change, and you can fine tune that. You might find that 11:15, 11:20, 11:05, or whatever seems to be the sweet spot, and you might find this. And then I do the same thing with the start time. It just seems like 9:40, 9:45 New York time, which would be 6:40, 6:45. Just to get those jitters out, so that you're not trading into that spasm that happens when that market opens up. But of course, you should.
I don't know about you guys, but on this move here that's happening with that gap, I would look at the zigzag and see where this is going to go. I bet you it's going to go up to here. I don't know what the zigzag would say. But anyway, let's play with the autopilot. So when you go to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and Friday, the reason why I would think that I might not do Thursday is because I'm not here.
That's fine. Then go ahead. You click that off if you don't want. But all this is doing is telling you, it's just the statistics it's compiling to see what would be good based on the past data. So now whether or not you want it to actually turn it on to be on, yeah, you might want to turn off Thursday. You know what I mean? So go ahead, just for now. I mean, that's a good thing, good idea. Just turn off Thursday and see what it does to it.
I wasn't here, yeah.
Just unclick that check mark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I am here, but that's where I thought I would use this, is if I was here on any one of these days. I wouldn't want any training to go, so it wouldn't happen. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, okay, good. Good to know. Now this exit,
I think they're all good to play with, Jane, but I found that most of those, like a lot of those, don't really. I don't know. They get really. I haven't found good results with those. All those entry strategies, good stuff to play with. And at any point in time, if you're on something there, you can go up to where that on the top of the screen where it says "Help." And if you click that, it'll take you to right online. Go ahead, click it if you want. Right there, yeah. It'll take you, and he's got a really good, strong search engine on all the auto functions. It's real good reading stuff to kind of help you answer your questions along the way. Not coming up. It does seem like maybe you're having an internet issue. Maybe I don't see anything there.
I see a blank screen. There it is.
I'm wondering if she's not getting data or something.
Oh.
But anyhow, that's a good thing as you're going along there. But the fundamentals, I would come back to that. I wouldn't spend too much time on that right now. What I would do is you got a bulls and bear indicator. That's good. And then go down to where it says take both. Scroll down. Right there where it says take both. This is a good spot to play because now you can force it to go long or short, which a lot of times I've been using that, and I've been having some really good results with that. If I see like the sentiment on the day is negative, and the S&P or the NASDAQ or whatever you're trading is down, you may only want to set this thing up for the day, for today, to go short. But for now, you're just doing a back test. So you can leave it on both, or go down, hit the trend button. That's a good one to learn, where it says trend right there. Put that now. Okay, so you've been playing with it. I see. That's good. So now if you can make it, only go into a trade if one of those other charts meets in its agreement, and that's good. I mean, which you can make it be a 4-hour chart like you got, or again, if you're trying to do a real fast trade, that's probably still kind of far away from it.
As an example, not to put in, but just as an example, like we talked about this morning, Jane, that crude oil and the Canadian dollar often trade similarly.
Right. That's a good.
You could say, I want to short the Canadian, but only if the trend of crude is in the same direction.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, yeah. That's a powerful thing, to be able to do that.
Yes.
And you can even pull it down to say the trend on the daily crude has to be in the same direction, or the trend on the 60-minute crude has to be in the same direction.
Interesting. So I see, because I have the NASDAQ. Well, we are on NASDAQ, but
right. No, you're in the you're in the NASDAQ.
Right.
But if you open up, if you go back to your charts, go ahead and hit charts again for a second.
Open up. No. Open up the S&P. Open up the S&P. There you go.
Well, so you have S&P is open. So if you could go back to what were you on, the 6? Click the 6 range on the NASDAQ again, and then hit your autopilot tab. And then under trend, click that down click. At the drop down right underneath that. No, you've got trend. Yeah, leave trend on. And then click that one. That one that has 4 hour on it. Click that. Now you can see you've got
at the bottom of that. Click on it again, Jay, and at the very bottom of the row, there you go. Range 4 E-mini.
That's the S&P. So now it's what you're doing is you're pulling in that stat also, which in other words, whether or not you want to do this, which is a good strategy. Again, like David's saying, I mean, if you only want to trade the Nasdaq, if it's going in the same direction as the S&P, so both can be met, which is a good thought process, you know, because they're 90% of the time they are in tandem. You look at the S&P, the Dow, and the Nasdaq; they're all going in the same direction. So if you're trying to make sure you only trade, just to make the trade safer, you know.
Right.
So that's a valid strategy. I mean, that you might want to play with, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And so then what? Now the bulls and bears, that's all you can put there, or?
No. So everything that you have open. So now go back over, left click on your blue screen.
This is right click.
Right click it.
Right click.
Okay.
And then go up to chart, look on the top chart overlays.
Yeah.
You could throw on advantage lines. Throw that on for a second. Okay, and then right click again over the blue screen. And then go to chart overlay or the add indicator winner, the third one, that one, yeah. See a bunch more. So I mean, you could go down to SSTO, like the slow stochastics is a pretty popular one, or MACD. Click one of those just to show so you can see it. Okay, so now that's just on the Nasdaq. You only opened it on the Nasdaq. So if you wanted to
you could save it as a default.
Yeah. You could, if you wanted to, you know, right click on that screen and it'll also.
And you can also say apply to all charts. Save as by default.
There you go.
Where do you see that? I don't.
No. Bring your cursor up over the blue.
Put it on your chart. There you go.
That's it.
Now right click. Apply settings to all charts. There you go. And so every one of your charts, all your charts will now have that setting. Now
go back over to your trend button where you were. Take the trend and go down where it says bulls and bears. Now right click. Yeah, click. Because you probably didn't open it. You probably have to reopen it.
She doesn't have it showing. She's got advantage lines and bulls and bears.
But she's got that on the S&P.
Oh, okay.
So go back up to where you have the S&P 4 there, and just click one of the other ones. 15. Yeah, one of those. Doesn't matter.
There it is.
There it is. Slow stochastics.
And if you open that up on the S&P, you'll have those selections also for there. So it gives you all those additional selections. So now you could say, yeah, I only want to do it if it meets criteria.
Well, that's interesting. So then it would, if I went to stochastics, then it would only, if it was a trend for NASDAQ, well,
correct.
So the trend would be up or down.
Well, yeah, but it's going to just depend on what that chart is doing. So if the stochastic, let's say, if you look at the stochastic is the white arrow on your chart.
Yes.
Okay, so that's facing down right now.
On the bottom, Jane, in the bottom window. That's
No. If you got either one. I mean, that's what it's following those arrows. That's.
I got it.
Yeah, the bottom chart shows you what's going on, you know, but those red and whites, that's what's telling you. Those are the indicators that the autopilot works off of. The other thing is, go down to your. I'm not seeing the results of your autopilot. you need to bring up the bottom of your screen a little bit. Take your arrow all the way down, further down, all the way to the bottom of your screen. Further down, yeah, down in there. Keep going down. You can shoot where you can see. Maybe it's, yeah, that's it. You got to bring it up. Now the other way. Go the other way. That's it. There we go. There we go. Now on the left side of the screen there, it should say autopilot. Hit autopilot. There you go. Now you see where it says gain percentage on the far right of that you just brought up. It's negative.
Yep.
See that? Now go back up to your trend. Now what you want to do is keep your eye on that. I mean, all that information is good information, but that one's the granddaddy. You know what I mean? You're trying to get that to give you a good result. Now, the other thing is look at the dates you have. Let's see, 4/19 to present. That's good. I mean, that's a couple weeks worth of information. On a range chart, that's a lot of information, so that's fine. You know, if you wanted to take it, you could even hit that calendar button and just go back a couple days and it'll move faster for you. Looking at stuff. Instead, you know, you got like 2 weeks in there. That's fine. If you want to take less time, just move the calendar forward another week or so. But that's what you're doing. All that is the back test. That's telling you, okay, based on the parameters that you put in from that time to that time, if that was on, that would be the result you get. So now your goal and job is to try to get that gain percentage as high as you possibly can.
So you would play with it.
That's exactly right. So all those different parameters you have. So go back to where that trend is again, where you have the SSTO. Yeah, where you have SSTO there. Click that and try a different one. Try a different, the advantage line. Didn't give you much of a different result. So go all the way. Another thing you can do is go all the way to the top for the first parameter you had set up. The bulls and bears, I think, set up on the top.
Oh, you mean this bulls and bears? Yeah.
Well, all the way to the top. Go all the way to the top. If you started with bulls and bears right there, indicator, you can make that. You could, because that indicator is going to be the indicator that gets you in. The other one is conditional. So, you may, so you could say, I only want to go into a trade if the advantage line puts me in, So, you click that one. And
that's a bigger loser.
Yeah, so then you don't like that, you know what I mean? Now, here's where some of the fun begins, just so you can play with it. But this is, David and I both know, you got to be careful with this, and Land, the creator of this, you can click where it says right next to the right of bulls and bears, it says QCalc. Go ahead and click that.
We talked about that earlier.
Oh, you're good. Okay.
And we use the slider indicator too, where you can slide it.
Very good, very good. I mean, it's not something you don't want to not use, but it's just, you want to be aware of what it's doing when you do it. That it's forcing those arrows to find the optimum spot backwards, which doesn't necessarily mean it's going to continue. It could, but it doesn't mean that it is. And
so now it's up to 62%.
See, right, now you're positive. So it got you positive. But now I can't see it on your screen for some reason. It's not letting me see it. But it should tell you the setting that you have where it says bulls and bears. Is that a bulls and bears? Yeah, bulls and bears over in the far top left of your screen. It should say bulls and bears and a number.
Over the other side, Jane, of your screen. There you go.
Yeah, over there.
It'll tell you, tells you what your bulls and bears settings are.
T54 neutral.
54. Okay. All right. So it's on a traditional setting. 54. Not bad. Not bad. See now, look, just again, so you know this, because you always want to go back and forth. Go over where you see BNB in the black ribbon over there, where the pricing you see in the middle to the right, the middle right of your screen. says B and B and advantage, ADV and B there. Further over to the right, a little more to the right, more to the right, more to the right, over the black ribbon there. Black, go down that middle of the black ribbon. Keep going down. See where it says B and B? Right click that.
Right click.
I'm sorry. Is it right click?
I don't know. Well, if you no, it's just click. You
Just click. Just click. Left click.
Or you could go to properties.
Okay,
Either
there
one.
it is. Okay, so now, yeah, that's just a quick way to get to the preference tab. So now what you have is the preferences of the B&B. See them there? It says traditional.
Yeah.
And you also can see your sensitivity at 54.
Right.
That's, I guess, what you guys were playing with. You can pull that back and forth. If you go up and hit TNT default, hit that TNT default, should take you back to 72. Go up to the top there, hit that button.
No, down, right there, left.
Yeah, there you go. Hit it. 72, traditional. See it? So now go down to where it says traditional on the formula. And the drop-down box where it says traditional.
Right there, right next to you. No, don't scroll. Right to your left, Jane. To your left, right under the slider bar. Formula to the right.
That's it.
Traditional.
Hit the drop-down box. And now see you got all those different formulas. So hit traditional again now there. This is what I like to do. And now go over, you should have arrows on your keyboard. You have up and down and left and right arrows.
Yeah.
Hit your down arrow. See it said progressive now?
Yes.
Hit it again. Aggressive. Hit it again.
Bollinger Bands.
Okay, now each time you hit those real quickly, you can look at that percentage gain and see, like, okay, what's giving me the best Bulls and Bear formula for this particular situation. And what do you have it on now, Bollinger?
Oh, that's 79%.
Yeah, So now that's on a default. What I like to do is I like to find the default settings that work, because that way it's telling me that would have worked without the cube calc. You know what I mean?
Right.
I want to see. I want to see how I want to make this work on a default setting that it's not. I don't want to say you're rigging the system against you, but a little bit you're going back and just optimizing it based on, you're making the computer say, well, where would have been the best place to put a bull and bear? I don't want it to do that. I want to say, because going forward, 72 is 72. You know what I mean? Now, if you decide you want 75 or 76 and you play with it a little bit, that's fine. And that's not necessarily a bad thing to do. It's just you want to be aware that you made it more sensitive than what the default is. So I like first of all looking at those different formulas of the Bulls and Bears and seeing which one of them, based on its default, would have worked. And and you hit it again, because I think there's a couple more. Keltner and go down one more. You got the Keltner. What did that give you? That's a negative. And then the 10 by 8, the other Mac or whatever that is. Okay, see, so the Bollinger's a good setting. I like that setting. So that one, without doing anything else, actually gave you a positive result. So, and then at any point in time, you can always hit that TNT default. It's going to take you back to your traditional 72. So you can always remember that.
But you had it at 54. When you had a positive return, you had it at 54.
Right, that was a QCalc result, right?
Well, yeah, I guess, but it was at 54 because I walked out of the room and I remember it was sitting at 54.
Right. You get the QCalc and it hit 54. So I just wanted to show her that leaving it at 72, first thing I like to do and because now if you QCalc, at least you're starting off with, I just try to, I don't know, where I'm at with this right now is I'm trying to see how, with all the default settings, without hitting any QCalc buttons, how much can I make this thing based on? Because I have more confidence that it would work under normal circumstances. Then I'm not preparing for the storm, so to speak. I'm letting it operate the way it was designed and seeing if it would put me into a successful trading pattern. And if it doesn't, you might be better off looking at a different contract versus sitting there and trying to make that thing work too hard for you. But if you can switch the time settings, switch, the different conditions, it's just a back and forth and optimization kind of thing. I think there are some robots out there that will actually go through some very detailed calculations. I think that's what's in the marketplace now. There's some of these MIT grads have figured out how to make the computer do all the things we're talking about right now. It goes through, tries every combination, and then says, here, this is the right thing to do.
And I've never seen one work. I've never seen a black box work, ever.
My theory is first you start off with some old school David Duty chart reading, find the contract that you think would make sense, like he did with the British pound. This is a good short. Then use this tool to make it give you a short on the next good signals that goes in, but only, that to me is what I'm experimenting with, because I think it's a great tool for entrance. It gets you in good, and it gives you a good stop. It can figure out a good place to put the stop automatically with the computer, and then I make it give me an alert, which you can do, that it went into the trade. I just did it a couple hours ago, and because it looked like it had pulled back during the lunch hour, right after lunch. The S&P had pulled back, which it traditionally does. It was going south, then it went up north, and I thought, okay, now the next time that thing goes red, bear, it gives me a red signal going down. I'm going to make it take me into the trade, because it had already pulled back pretty significantly. It was now going into after lunch. Traders are coming back in. It's probably going to continue into the negative trend. And it did. It went in and, went down a couple $100. And I said, that's good. I'm out, but I mean, David Duty would probably stay in there for 3 days.
I like to lose $4,000 in a week.
No, that doesn't mean you're going to lose. Because technically speaking, I mean, if you look at that daily chart on the S&P right now, I mean, it looks like it looks like it could keep going south. I mean.
Well, I told Jane a while ago, I said I'm not happy that I put that Aussie dollar on, but at least it was in the demo software, and it proves a point when somebody says these economic calendars don't really matter, or the USDA calendars. Well, if it doesn't matter, let me show you one.
Right. Which is great about you, David. You always, you're very honest, and you say it. I forgot. My bad. I should have checked my chart, my calendar first. And if you had, and you saw that there was a big economic report, then you probably would have held off. Or what you can do with the autopilot is you can say, okay, I'm going to go into this trade at 15 minutes after that report, if it goes in the direction I want it to go in, and then it wouldn't have let you go into that trade because it went off to the races the wrong direction.
Or I could have turned on autopilot, and or something to say, get me out if it drops.
Right, and that's what I've been playing a lot with, and I'm trying to coordinate that with. If David looks at something and he says, I was going to do it with British pound, and of course, coulda, shoulda, woulda. I did do it actually. I did it with the with my demo account. Should have done it on my live account, but I did it with and it went into the trade, and it's whatever it was, 947 yesterday, I guess it was. It found the spot, went in, and it's up $662.
Oh.
Now, what I love about the autopilot is that if you set that thing conservatively, you can get it so you're comfortable. Like if you go over there and you see your biggest loss, well, you've got it. What do you have that set on that mini right now? Is that a daily chart? Oh yeah, you get the daily chart. No, I don't know. What is that?
It's range 6.
Well, I was on that 15-minute. I just want to see if I got that. Somehow that gap went away.
Yeah, it did. Looks like it did.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, you were just missing data, and it filled it in later.
That's true.
This is a good chart to look at, Jane. Go down to those, that bottom information on the autopilot. See, if you go to the left of where that percentage gain is, you'll see biggest loss. You see it?
Yes.
What is it? What does it say? What's the how much?
Minus 200.
Okay, so now that's what I was saying before. Is this is a great tool based on that, based on the way the settings that you have right now. I mean, that's not necessarily optimized, but I mean, based on that right now, the biggest loss it would have let you lose is $200. And
That's good.
That's where you can say, okay, I feel okay about this. You know what I mean? I feel like I now what's the biggest winner on there? The numbers are too small for me to see.
245.
45.
Okay. So I mean that gives you a feel for, in addition to that percentage gain, you want to kind of look at those things and say, okay, how do I feel about that? How do I feel about that? You know what I mean? Of course you want to see the biggest win as big as possible. You want to see the biggest losers as small as possible, but you've also got to take some risk to get there. And you might, if you play with it too much, you can end up getting no trades. You don't get any action. You might have a great winning percentage and you have one trade a month, and that's good if you get one trade and it goes the right way. But again, with this process is like on this British pound, it's staying in that trade for me so far. So it held up that trailing stop. It only risked a couple $100.
Right.
How much? But it put the stop in, and I'm up 656 on it. So that's what you want, because this thing might go on for 3, 4, 5 days a week, and turns into a nice position David Duty kind of trade. It gives you the best of both worlds. So you're looking for, to me, what I'm trying to do right now is get a David Duty position trade and throw it on in an active trade process with the autopilot. So I'm protected. So, I might lose a couple hundred, but I've got the upside that trailing stop is going to keep on keeping on,
And Jane, you can also do a lot of that with the order placement. When you place the trade, you can go in and put jump stops, trailing stops, stops on the parabolic czar, stops on the blue light. So you can do a lot of the bulls and bears kind of stuff when you're placing the trade.
Right.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second so that you have that to play with this, because scroll down past that, where the middle of it, we just were in the no, what David's talking about is right there. That's good. Where you've got, that's good. So dollars. Now, see, if you hit that bars back button, I like this button. I've been playing with that a lot. That bars back right underneath dollars back. See that radio button? Hit that, and then hit the button right underneath it. Here, I don't mind Q-calcing this a little bit. Go ahead and hit that Q-calc button to the right of that. Now, what that does is it figures out the optimum high-low point against, it looks for the last resistance and support level. So depending on which side of the trade it goes, it finds the spot it thinks that it needs to protect you. And I've found I adjust something else, but it seems that gives you a good spot. So it's only risking, a minimal. Like now, what is your biggest loss on there now? 150, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, so it found a spot that allowed the trades to still go through without risking as much for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The percentage a little bit. To me, that's a good Q-calcer. And actually, all those exit strategies I think are fair. What I'm trying to stay away from on the Q-calc is on the entrance side, because I think it fakes you out too much. Here, it's more after the fact. Once it puts you into the trade, if I don't like what it came up with, well, that's okay. It got me into the trade. It was a good spot to get in the trade. Now I can adjust my stops and exit strategies manually, to something I like better if I don't like what it came up with.
And if I was going to, don't mean to butt in, but I was going to remind you, if you do that and use the autopilot to get you into the trade, and then if manually go in and adjust stuff, remember to turn off autopilot and say stop trading.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, right. Because now I have I have start trading. I haven't started yet.
Yeah, if you click start trading, you'll have a green bar a vertical bar show up, and that shows
It
you,
won't hurt anything. You can see.
and that's your disclaimer. Say accept, okay. There you
Now you see
go.
the bar.
So then now I'm trading.
Now you're trading.
Now it's looking for a trade.
It's looking for a trade.
Yeah, you've got autopilot set on, and if it finds something that meets your criteria, it'll place that trade.
And so for what I
Now,
have,
now it won't let you adjust those. So hit the red button now. Let it go green again.
You have to stop trading.
Yeah, hit the stop. And then go back over because I want you see right underneath that. Yeah, that's it. Where it says then if so it's jump stop and you got 15 and 2, and that's a good setting, I think. But then hit the next button underneath that. Then this is where you make the money. Then and that's not a bad setting too. 3 and 2 is not a bad one I found. Because that will let this thing keep on going and protect you more and more. Matter of fact, look at your percentage gain just by putting that on. Look what happened.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Now you didn't do anything other than just turn that on. Now what that meant is it allow every time you were because the first time the stop will move to 2 after 15. If you don't hit the next button, it'll just stay at 2. So it's not protecting those wins.
It makes it trail. It makes it trail.
Correct.
Now, and then so this is very different from the SAR trading and the blue light trading. I would keep no trailing stop with this jumpstart stuff on.
Correct. It won't let you do both. Like if you go down, like right underneath that, you see the pulsar, the blue light special,
Right.
and the ATR. Any of those? If you go ahead and click one of those,
Then it takes off your second part of your jump stop.
Oh, I see. Right.
then if you want to put that back on, then you just have to click the
No trailing and jump below that. Second part of the jump. Up, right there.
Then F, okay.
Let me show you one more thing before we stop, because I mean, another thing I really like that I've been playing with on this software is like just those functions you have right now is more than enough to get started, but something else that will give you a nice quick scalp that sometimes that you might like is scroll it all the way to the bottom. And see where it says exit on signals?
Yeah.
If you turn that off for a second, click that one off. Because you have to, if you keep that on, then every time the red or blue or whatever you're trading on goes the other way, it automatically takes you out of the trade. I think it's better to let those trailing stops take you out. And then right above that where it says exit if profit is greater than,
Yeah.
click that one on. And then QCAP, hit the QCAP to that. It's a nice scalp that a lot of times, it quickly grabs a bunch of ticks for some reason, and it just bails you out. You might like that.
Say it again.
See where it says exit if the profit is greater than X amount. So like you'll see what that does is like if it goes into a trade, and a lot of times it goes into a trade, and right away it goes in your favor, and you pick up 10, 15 ticks. It's looking to see if that's, to your advantage to just get out right there. You know what I mean? It's a quick scalp bailout. And now, what that did it? Oh, it's still calculate. It does take a few minutes to calculate, but I find that it's kind of nice because it usually is like within the first 5 or 10 bars. If there was a big move, it just gets you out right away. It might be something that you're interested to turn on and off.
So is this something that you would keep on?
Which?
This exit profit?
I have been, you know, just to see how functional it is. It doesn't happen too often, but it seems like, you know, a lot of times, or sometimes, I would say maybe 10-20% of the times it's been going in, all of a sudden it jumps up or down, whatever, in your favor real quickly, and that just says, hey, it takes you out, locks you up, and pulls you out, you know, and you grab a couple $100 real fast. Other times the trade could just go on for, you know, for a long time, and there's nothing wrong with it staying staying like this British pound. I mean, it's been in since a full day. I mean, it's been in since yesterday morning, which is fine, because I'm not worried about it, because as a trailing stop, it keeps protecting itself. It keeps moving up. I've locked up a few $100 on that, no matter, and it just keeps with that type of trailing stop you have set on there right now. It just keeps on optimizing the situation. Once you get over that first 15 or whatever you set it on, right now you have it on 15, which I think is a good setting. That 15 and 2 is because it's a doable amount. And then all you're doing is locking up 2. So it's giving you some breathing room. And then every time it goes 5, it hits 2, or, you know, that's not a bad setting right there. There's not a bad place to play with the Q calcs a little bit, but you just want to make sure it doesn't make it work too hard for you to get, you know, to get your base covered. Sometimes that thing will go out there pretty far and try to lock up 30 or 40 ticks before it gives you any kind of protection. And then it might be more risk than you're comfortable with.
I was talking to a student last night, and he's been a student for 10 years at least or so. And I was trying to teach him how to use the calendars. And I asked him where he was, and I knew he was in Canada. But he said, well, I'm in the old folks' home. And I said, in the old folks' home? And kind of laughed. He said, no, you think I'm kidding you. I'm not. He said, I'm 89 years old. I'll be 90 in 2 weeks.
Wow.
And so he said, I just love doing this. And he said, I can only spend a few minutes because dinner's at, you know, a certain time. They're calling us all to dinner. He said, so you call me back, you know, tomorrow. So I thought it was kind of interesting. I've got a 89-year-old student that's turning 90 in 2 weeks in a nursing home, or an old folks home, as he called it, that's sitting there trading during the day.
I'm still learning. Thank you very much. That's great.
You know, now see what that did?
408.
Yeah. So it's saying if the profit is greater than 10 ticks, and that happens within 4 to 10 bars, get me out.
So the Q calc made those numbers up.
It went back and said,
Yes.
based on the time that you gave it,
Yeah.
it said every time you got me into a trade, Mr. Autopilot, if this happened, where would be the best place? Well, I kind of, for scalping or day trading, it's just a neat little function, and it doesn't go off too often. But when it does, it's a nice grab, because you know it works pretty good too. I've tried it. So what you've got there right now, you might want to save that as a test 4 or whatever you want to call it, because it's not a bad little template for you to play with there.
Or you could call it webinar, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
How do you change that?
Well, you can either
New strategy.
hit the new button.
Ah, there it is. Good.
And then I think you got to make up a new name or whatever.
Pull it down, new strategy name, and see what it. Well.
Oh, new strategy name. That's right, of course.
Is that it?
It doesn't.
I
don't know about that. It may have changed everything back to your old settings on new strategy.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
Can I go to test 3?
Yeah, that should be it, because that's where you were.
I'm going to stay at test 3.
Now save your chart. Save it. Go to save. There you go. And it should save. And then you could even call that test 3 or something if you wanted to. And the next time you want to look at it, you could open it back up.
Okay, great. And then I'll have my template. Nice.
Good.
It's your starting spot, you know.
Well, we've been going for 2 hours, Jane.
I know. Thank you so much.
So I recorded this, and I'm going to let it do whatever it does, and then I'll upload it to YouTube, so you'll be famous.
I can't wait.
You can tell all your kids or whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? Mom's on YouTube now.
No kids, but that's all right. I got lots of friends.
All right, good deal. I'm going to end them. You're going to have to turn the meeting back over to me.
Okay.
And you go to participants, I think. Let me see if I can do it. You're viewing Jane's screen. Share screen. No, I can leave the meeting, but I can't end it. You have to end it. Under your settings where it says start video, stop video, mute, and all that, you should see something that says end meeting at the bottom of your screen. The bottom of the other window, the one that has the pictures on it, or go up to the top. There you go. Go up to the top. You are with Jane. Look at that one. Bill, help her with that. I got to get a phone.
Okay.
Host me participant. We're not talking about that, right?
What are you trying to do now?
We're trying to end the meeting.
Well, I think if you just go to the right, where the bottom right, I think says leave meeting.
See, I don't see the meeting.
You scroll all the way to the bottom where it said share screen. Usually, sometimes they're not there, and you've got to bring your cursor to the bottom of your screen. They pop up sometimes.
Oh, wait a minute. I got it. End meeting. Bye. See ya. Thank you.
All right. Good deal.